Alright, fellow Kaijudo duelists, this is Chris here with Team Squeaky at Kaijudo Central, and we're going to be bringing you some new videos here. So, these type of videos we're going to start calling Future Sight. Now, what these videos are going to take and be about are preview cards, and maybe preview cards with being in preview decks. Okay? Yes, I took the name from Magic the Gathering. Like you guys know, I'm an old Magic the Gathering player, but I thought the name kind of fit what we were trying to take and do here. So to give you guys a bird's eye view of a card or maybe a deck that is being developed and created here at Team Squeaky. So without further ado, I'm going to take and start with a card that I'm getting a lot of Twitter PMs about, a lot of side messages on Kaijudo Central about, asking what I felt about it, what I've seen in testing and things like that. And that card is Infernus the Awakened. Yes, this is my proxy for it. Not a real card, but so you guys can tell I've kind of been play testing this, right? I've kind of told people out there that that's what we're going to be doing going forward when we saw preview cards that we knew were playable and things like that. And so, yeah, Infernus was my first card that I started kind of playing with off of the preview set. So let's kind of discuss the card because I've been getting a lot of questions about whether it's broken, is it too synergistic with different dragons and things like that. So let's go ahead and start there, right? So first off, it's a 9-drop creature. Okay, it is triple breaker and it is 13,000 power. Right? So it's got 2 effects, right? There's one effect that's a come into play effect and an ongoing attacking effect, and then the second one is just a constant board state effect. Okay, so let's talk about Inferno Rockets. When this creature enters the battle zone, and whenever it attacks, banish an enemy creature that has 4,000 power or less, right? Then you got Infernus' Decree, which is your opponent can't summon creatures that have 4,000 power or less, right? At a first glance of this card, it screams control, right? This guy just controls the board, sets it, removes stuff, things like that, okay? The initial read I got from players was, well, it's going to be in a control deck of Water, Darkness, Fire. That's its own particular deck for it, right? This is where it should fit. No. I didn't agree with that. Does it fit there? Yes. It's only home? No. And I'll talk about that here in a second, right? But so that's kind of the layout to the card of what this bad boy is, okay? Yesterday on Kaijudo Central, I posted a deck called Dragons Savor. That was kind of my beginning to start looking at where dragons could go based upon the Dragon Masters collection. Right? When I saw Infernus, I lit up like the 4th of July. I'm like, oh wow, okay. This guy here is playable inside that deck. It's not a true control deck, it's a ramp deck. My envision was kind of the old, like you guys know, Magic the Gathering, old Magic the Gathering player. Were the old ramp style decks, right? From Magic the Gathering, the green-red ramp or Eldrazi ramp. For those of you who played Magic the Gathering, I'm like, wait a minute. If you take the same approach with this card, there's a good possibility it's going to take and work. And those weren't true control decks. They just ramped up and did a whole crap ton of damage. And once once Eldrazi usually hit the field, they controlled the board. It wasn't what we call true control in Magic, which is usually like a blue, black, blue, white, counterspell, bounce, things like that, or board and things like that. So my envision for this guy when I first saw it was a ramp style, and I still think he fits very well there because of my testing. So I have a deck that, in using this guy, I call it Decree, obviously because of his second effect, which is Infernus' Decree, right? Well, that deck follows along the lines of Dragons Savor. It uses the same color base. It's Fire, Darkness, Nature, okay? And it ramps, specifically. You guys have seen it, right? I've had to make a couple of different changes to it just because recently in my local play area, seeing Mono Light Rush being played, which I never thought was a thing, but apparently it can be. Don't see a lot of those decks online, and so yeah, So I've had to make some adjustments to it a little bit for that, but still really well. Okay, Infernus the Awakened in testing, we've been using it against Blurple, WDF, Hydra Neuron, not really Cobalt, just because of the feedback that I've seen online. Dragons tends to wreck Cobalt with ease. It just can't deal with it in some manners. So we didn't really test it versus Cobalt yet, but I got a deck that's coming with Andromeda, and I'll try to probably test against it to sit there and see how it runs. But so Infernus, right, with the deck, the way that it runs is I usually ramp in with it, hopefully letting my shields do their job, and if I have to get a creature out, cool, dropping in Tetsurian or drop a Tetsurian Unchained to help level out the board a little bit. As you guys saw in Dragon Save War yesterday, I used 3 Skull Shatters. How this guy synergizes with Skull Shatter so good, just because if you got a control deck, 9 times out of 10 you're trying to build up their hand to try to deal with it, right? Play Skull Shatter, cool. They have no hand, okay. And then you come back behind it and you play Infernus. Well, that will tend to wreck a control deck today fairly easy at that particular point. And with the amount of ramp that the deck does, I've been able to, at the earliest, turn 5 Skull Shatter, turn 6 Infernus, but it tends to be more consistent at turn 6 Skull Shatter, turn 7 Infernus, right? And that's usually where that particular deck, with that particular combination, tends to work. The other way I can get Infernus out is either hard casting, or, as you guys saw in Dragon Save War, right, I use Hammer Dragon, swing, hopefully if I reveal a dragon, right, if it's Infernus, good game at that particular point, just because it's probably too early, like, that particular card I can get down, what, turn 5? If I played Hyperspeed turn 4 Hyperspeed, turn 5 Hammer, swing, reveal Infernus, there's nothing, nowhere dealing with that at that particular point, except maybe it's inside their shields, but the deck does combo out really well. Infernus does work really well with different cards in testing so far. So, is the card broken? Because that's the question that I tend to get with the card. No, he's not broken. He's not broken. He's not broken. He can still be removed. If they don't attack with him, you can Death Smoke him, right? Which purple is definitely going to have to do. Or run Veil Vortex again, a lot of. Just because they're going to need it within inside their shields, possibly to bounce this guy back up if he hits the field to it. I see Chimera decks beginning to run this guy a lot more, just because 6,000 power he can get down as a 4-drop, and then they can use him as bait for a Hydra Neuron. Their other answer would be to place down like a Dark Scared Adorable. Good luck Cyberlords. Yeah, that's all I really got to sit there and say to that, because you're probably not getting down Cyberlords. Chimeras is going to have to be probably the way that you go to try to deal with this guy. But yeah, I'm just talking about all that. So, in testing, like I said, not broken, brutal, very, very brutal if you can get him out early game, and if you can protect him, forcing them to not being able to sit there and play anything, really good. Combos out really well with some nice cards, such as, like I said, Skull Shatter, coming back behind with this guy, and really Hammer Dragon Foul Burn. If you can swing with a Hammer Dragon and then unveil it on the swing early game, I'm sorry, that's going to be it, depending upon what you got inside your shields, right? So just be aware of that particular piece, but it's not broken. It is a legit card. Anybody who doesn't think it's legit, I will be more than happy to trade for your Infernuses at $2 a pop if you don't think it's legit. Do I see that occurring? No, but if you don't want to sit there and believe that Infernus is a good card, or you're just not seeing it, by all means, send them my way. I'll take them from you. Let me know what you want for them. But yeah, very, very, very good card. I see it realistically probably getting up to the price point right around Texarian the Unchained. Maybe not exceeding tap, but being right around there, to be honest with you. This card leads me to believe that we're going to start getting more cards of the control factor, the constant board state effects that I've seen with Duel Masters over in Japan, as I'm kind of watching and reading and learning from that. But yeah, definitely a good card. Definitely not broken, but brutal once he's on the field. Okay, so alright, hopefully that helps you guys. I'll try to begin to sit there and show Decree later down the road as we continue to get more things. My next video is probably going to talk about the birds and my thought on the birds with the few that we've gotten so far. I do have an opinion about the birds, but yeah. Anyways, alright, this is Chris, Team Squeaky here at Kaijudo Central. Later.